It is a truism that when you cannot feed yourself, you are a slave. Many times I go to African countries and you go to the supermarkets and we buy and consume things that we can produce. We import rice in billions of tons from Pakistan. We can produce rice. We import oranges from Israel. We can produce oranges. We import chicken from Brazil. We can rear chicken. The continent of Africa continues to consume that which it does not produce and to produce that which it does not consume. And you young people who are present here, this engagement should give you an opportunity to interact with the men and women who have done it. I've had the opportunity of listening to my good friend from Israel, and he has narrated to you how through trials and tribulations, Israel has succeeded in feeding herself. When it was said that Israel was a land of milk and honey, one would have assumed that there was a fertile land. One would have assumed that there was accommodating soil. One would have assumed that you'd had to do very little in order to produce. But the story tells us that you must roll up your sleeves and do something with the land that is available to you. To deploy technology, it is only then that the soil will produce that which you desire. That story is a story that you young men and women must borrow something from. I had the opportunity a little earlier to talk to my friend from Hungary, and he narrated to me how 200 kilometers away from Budapest, the capital of Hungary, he is rearing 200 buffaloes and engaging in organic farming. The question is, after you too will have interacted with him, what lessons will you draw from his experience in Hungary? I had the opportunity of talking to His Excellency, the Ambassador of Pakistan to Rwanda, and we talked about how they continue to supply many African countries with rice. The question is, after we have interacted with him, what will we do to ensure that we too are capable of producing rice after tomorrow? But the question that we in the continent of Africa must ask is, what are we doing about our agriculture? I know that the Honorable Minister for Agriculture is present in this assembly by representation. And I'm quite certain that when you attend many meetings where we Africans are present, we talk about agriculture. At the continental level, we have what we call Africa's agriculture strategy, which started from the year 2016 and will end in the year 2025. I have never understood why a strategy for agriculture must have a time limit while we continue to eat on a daily basis. In my view, when you are strategizing for agriculture, it is a long-term strategy and a lifelong strategy which is only revamped from time to time to accommodate latter-day technologies. As we make to ourselves the promises that we do often, what are we doing in order to improve our agriculture? In the continent of Africa today, when you look at the 20 top seed-producing companies in the world, there is not even a single one from the continent of Africa. In other words, we are not in control of our seeds. When I listen to local radio stations and local television stations across Africa, I hear the songs of seeds from Syngenta and Monsanto being praised. No seeds from the continent of Africa. And as I said, if you don't produce any seeds, if you don't control what goes into the soil, you cannot control what comes out of the soil, you cannot control what is on your plate, and you become a slave. I would want to ask those who are from the universities, when you are teaching your students in agriculture, what are you teaching? Are you teaching things that are sensitive and realistic to the continent of Africa? These are the uncomfortable questions. Reports every year in dollar terms, food that is 3 times bigger than the GDP of the Republic of Rwanda. That cannot be right. That must not be allowed. And it is you young men and women who are going to change it. Africa is still very rural, and we are engaged in what sometimes is described as subsistence agriculture. But what kind of agriculture are we engaged in? Are we deploying technology? Are we farming like our forefathers did?